crowd, we will suspend or pass over privilege of the floor. Number one, unless we have a written question or someone coming in online.
Nope.
All right, we'll go to approving the minutes of December 6th, which we had something included
At the end.
and thrown in. And I had one line which I questioned when I reread it to you. And what that question was on line 55. It starts on line 54. It says the Crane Clinic at the Mountain will not be staffed with a doctor again this year. Didn't they have doctors last year? I think this is the first year it hasn't been staffed.
I don't
think
believe so.
they had doctors last year either.
Isn't the implication that it's open, there's a doctor on the campus? That's what
I think I would just say will not be staffed this year.
No, what it says, yeah, but I'm just wondering if we had one last year. And my question was the clinic operating without an MD on staff? That's the question I had, because had always thought that when the clinic was open, there was a doctor there. From when I would do the tickets, there was always staff tickets given out.
I'll ask.
Yeah,
It's not that important, but just.
Right.
I can remove that again and
Okay,
just leave it this year.
All right, remove the again.
Yep.
We're fine.
And will not be staffed with a doctor this year.
With a doc. Yes.
All right. Rich and Margaret, did you both have a chance to read the insert in red paragraph 7?
Yep.
Any questions or problems with it?
No, I think that clarified it for me.
Me too.
I'm fine.
Okay, great. So can I get a motion to accept these minutes as amended?
So moved?
Is there a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, great. Now we'll go to the minutes of the 22nd.
I got a correction here.
All right, Margaret, what do you got?
Okay. Well, down where we talk about, the negotiations between the town and the Waterville company.
What line
So,
number do you have that?
25, 26.
Okay.
We didn't settle upon the assessed value of the property. The property was already assessed at 88.3. We didn't settle that was the
No,
assessment. So the way
right.
it reads is as if we decided that the value of the property was 88.3, but it was already in the town records at 88.3,
Correct.
and that was the agreed upon purchase price.
Yes.
And that's what I would like it to reflect.
Okay.
And I think at the time, I also said that the 88.3 is what the Waterville company had been paying taxes on.
That's correct.
Okey-doke. Anything else, Margaret?
No,
Rich, you got anything?
No.
Okay, I got something when I get to 93. I think we should split 93.
oh yeah, there is something weird up there.
Yeah, split 93 with the trash truck and add that to public
Yeah,
works.
that's,
and take
trash
that out of
truck is
rec.
under rec for some reason.
Oh,
93?
Yeah.
Line 93?
Yeah.
All right.
we'll put that under Public Works.
Yeah. Along with the dumpster.
Yeah.
All right, that's all I had. Rich, anything?
No, I'm good.
Okay, great. I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of 26 as slightly amended.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, done.
Aye.
Excellent. Now, we are the financial for the year end.
Yes. So you get, the financial report is 12/31/18
Unaudited, correct?
unaudited.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
right now we're showing estimated return to the fund balance of somewhere around 135,000.
question on public safety revenues.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it up 130? Was that ambulance?
Yes,
Reimbursement
ambulance
is-
reimbursements,
Just want that.
11,000.
Okay, then when we get down to planning and zoning, I understand we went more for, what's the woman's name?
Tara Bamford.
Tara Bamford.
Mhm.
And then the line below it, IT, but we need to buy more computers.
Yep.
And that's pretty much all I had on that. Rich?
I'm good.
Margaret?
I'm good.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. So now we'll look at the capital account balances.
And I gave you an updated one. It was at your place here, and I emailed you an updated copy, Rich.
Yep, I got it.
Okay, and the only difference was on the Corcoran Pond Dam repairs.
Yeah.
That number, we actually spent the 211,993 this year, so there's 418,007 left. All of the other accounts are the same. I did not change any of my recommended actions, but usually at this meeting, you approve to retain monies to the
Or-
next year.
New cruiser purchase, is
Yeah,
that new
what-
cruiser lease?
No, we purchased the cruiser with the insurance money and use of fund balance and
Okay.
So the-
and in capital
And that's a
reserve.
capital
And when we
reserve.
ended up purchasing the car, we actually had
Money for the
more
lease.
available. And we got
We still
additional
got the- Yeah, we
insurance.
still, an extra $6,000 out of the insurance.
Right,
So
so
when we have 13,000 as balance.
We got it.
we just got it for less than the 45,000 that we had.
Okay. All right. The mower 265, that's kind of simple.
Yeah.
The plow,
Mhm.
that $1.15 on the old cruiser, fine. The music festival, the 10,000.
Yeah.
Goes back,
To undesignated.
right,
Yeah. And then 146 for the pickup truck purchase.
right,
And all of the rest are being retained and used
to carry. as
to carry
carryovers.
forward to 19.
Now, are we appropriating any less for 19, or are we building the war chest up?
Where it's about level.
You know,
We're looking at 116,000 to be used from fund balance in 19. Last year, we used about 105.7, but then we made the $100,000 additional
Because of the lease.
because of the lease to the truck. So we actually used 205.7 for the year.
Okay, and we came up with a surplus of how much?
135,000
Okay.
is our estimated surplus.
So if we take
So-
107 for 135, so we wound up
So-
with 20.
So right here, we will end 18 at
I don't
906.
think I have.
No, I don't think you have it. I will end up the year with about 906,000.
Yeah.
For 18, and then we're proposing to spend 116 in the CIP for capital projects.
Gotcha, so it brings it down about 8.
Well, but then
Right.
that's not counting any surplus from 19.
Oh, no, I got
So-
you. We usually, we have been running.
And we
a surplus.
usually run 100.
Now, you mentioned in your note, revenues were up. Can you tell me where our revenues were up? Where we were off significantly on our revenues being up?
Well, wastewater was 26,
Okay,
368 over.
and why? Is that because of economy of new chemicals and new equipment?
No, that's just the revenue side.
Okay,
That's
you're
not
right,
on the
sorry.
expenses.
And why?
We didn't change, we've been running right around the 320 in our estimated revenues for several years.
Could this be because we changed and went to billings, metered billing on the commercial properties?
No, we were billing on.
Yeah, but we had
meter
actually
use.
we actually had a new formula this year.
Not this year.
Not
The
this
year-
year.
the year
It was,
before.
it was 16,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's almost 10% up on this one.
It was,
Yeah.
I don't know, I would not have guessed that we would have been that much over given the occupancy reports that we've been seeing, but
Yeah.
that's the actual water use that we're
Yeah,
seeing.
no, it's interesting when it's up that much.
Recreation had a much
It's a
larger
very-
December
Right.
than they thought they were going to.
Yeah.
So, and then public safety was 11,000 over because of the ambulance fees.
Now, is that because the ambulance fees caught us this year, or sometimes they lag a year? I can remember certain years.
There are years when
We don't get it in time, that number, there's usually a $10 flex,
Yeah,
$10,000 flex.
yeah, so that's for all the stuff we're doing now,
Right.
or that we did in November, December. So
Right, but
that's still
sometimes we don't get
outstanding.
paid in the actual year.
What's that?
Sometimes we don't get paid in the calendar year.
Right, because
That's correct.
it takes us, you
Yeah.
know,
Mhm.
90 days to collect
Yeah.
on an ambulance.
And motor vehicles, people are just, we're registering more cars and they're more expensive cars, so.
All right,
Now, do the water, wastewater, solid waste, recycling, does
Mhm.
all of that balance out so that the fees that we are collecting cover?
Yes, and I did
did see
send you
something,
the
right?
separate, I did send you the separate sheet. This year, we're gonna be we're gonna use only about $9,000 in actual tax dollars
Mhm.
to pay for both the water and sewer departments combined.
Okay,
We have been running a deficit for several years between the two departments combined. And
meaning that our revenues that we're taking in are not covering all of the
that's correct, we're
expenses.
using tax dollars
I
to
think they have it
supplement.
covered.
They
Only one
did
year.
out in the early in the early 2000s.
Right, but recently.
Well, recently, they've been there.
Okay.
So, but since 2002, we've spent 611,000 in tax dollars to cover both departments. So we're averaging around $36,000 a year, since 2002
Mhm.
to supplement the water and sewer. But we haven't adjusted rates for many years, so.
And my recollection is that the reason we weren't adjusting rates back then is that even though one department might not be covered, the other fees
Yeah.
that we were collecting
That's
were making up for it.
For the most part.
Right.
I mean, when you combine the two departments together, we're spending, several $1 million since 2002,
Mhm.
and we've only been averaging this 36,000 in tax dollars.
Mhm.
That's a dime on the tax rate, so
Right.
it hasn't been a lot in terms of our total tax rate.
Okay.
Rich, any questions on this?
Yeah, listening very, very interesting.
Okay, all right, so do we need to make a motion to, put these, to
To
retain
yes.
and dissolve the accounts?
Close the funds
Right,
and
do we
return
have
it
to
to
do them
fund balance.
individually, or?
No, you can do it as on this sheet, and we'll give this sheet to Paul.
All right. Martin, would you like to make that motion?
I'd like to move that we close and return funds to the undesignated fund balance as outlined in the capital account balances sheet of 12/31/2018.
I will second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Rich?
I,
Okay. Okay, great. All right, let's go to department heads. Chris, what's it like out there?
Well, we suddenly switched to reactionary mode. We've been very busy with calls. We've seen some pretty significant things, which is kind of interesting. Just out of luck. I mean, it wasn't, or bad luck. There's nothing that attributes to it.
Like what?
We've seen, broken pelvis, broken neck,
Broken femur.
For the
broken
ambulance.
femur,
Yeah, these are
couple
common
broken
around here.
femurs. It's a combination, yeah. So it's, we're really getting some,
Are people falling in condominiums or in town square or
yep,
just all over the
yep.
place?
Yeah,
Yeah. No, it's just, I have to walk around these condos all day. It's tough.
yeah. So, and then along with that, we're finishing up all our end of the year auditing with fire academy, the police academy, EMS stuff. So we're doing that, closing out our year as well. Other than that, the holiday week went well. Everybody's doing well. Lieutenant Pear's wife Jamie, well, they had their baby girl, Everly. That was on the 3rd. So everybody's good.
Good.
All right.
We're getting a lot of snow really quickly now. Are we still staying on people to make sure they're clearing the vents on the kerosene heaters and propane?
Yeah, we go out almost daily now with the snow coming in, go around to the hotels. We look at egresses, heating vents. We're in touch with Valley Run and Pete Hickson to make sure. They're both very good about doing
Yeah,
that.
they're just flat out.
It's hard to keep up. And then we get hydrants they're all buried now. So it's pecking away at it a little bit at a time, doing the best we can. But yeah, that's definitely, that's where we start, is with egresses and vents, and then we go to hydrants and things like that. So, yeah. If you see anything, let us know.
Rich, anything?
Nope, I'm good.
Mark? Okay, anything to report from rec and from
No,
this?
Brooke and Nelson are at a rec directors conference this week, and she has some information regarding her summer camp fees that we'll talk about at the next meeting.
Okay.
So we'll be getting you a sheet. She's got some recommendations for those fees.
Okay. Jim?
Yes, busy.
Yeah?
You just woke him up.
It's been busy since the 1st of November, weather-wise.
Yeah,
So,
it hasn't been enough, but it's been a lot.
right, and it's been the oddest of storms, which are very, very hard because we get the snow, and then we get rain, and then we get the cold following it. So it's been tough, but other than minor repairs, most everything is going along pretty well.
Trash truck had some problems. Right.
And they did right when you don't need them, but they were minor things, but they were enough to put the trash truck down. We lost a coolant hose on the way back from the landfill, so we had to go make some beside the highway repairs and get the truck back and then get a new part. And we had one of the brake cans on the driver's side front was leaking air, so we had to replace that. And then we get back in service and get back into picking up, and we lost another coolant line. So it seems it's like if you've ever lost a brake line on your vehicle, you replace that, and then a week later the other brake line goes. It's almost like it goes to the weakest point. It finds another weak spot. So, but we're pretty much caught up now as far as trash goes. The Central, during that time, Central was always empty. We always had it empty, and it was always and we got as many of the commercials as we possibly could fit on. The only ones that suffered were the condominiums, obviously. So, and of course, we try to encourage people to, if those are full, to bring the trash over here.
Do people know that? I don't know if they know that.
I've talked to the property management companies
Yeah.
and told them to,
But maybe
To
could that be an insert into a water and sewer bill?
yeah.
At some point, it doesn't have to be the whole
Right.
insert, but just.
Or an email to the presidents of the
Yeah.
associations.
Oh, I have another thing from the president of the association.
Yeah.
But we might want to, do you have any other stuff?
Not unless you got any questions.
Well, yeah, I do have a question because I was reading over the dumpster regulations.
Mhm.
And the dumpster regulations, to me, I don't know, did you have a chance to read them? Rich, did you read the dumpster regs?
No, not yet.
Okay. It doesn't really spell out who's responsible for cleaning up around the dumpster. You know, I was looking for something in those paragraphs to find it. I think we need to come up with some language and some definitions and let the presidents of the associations know whose responsibility is. Because I think they think naturally it's ours because we pick up the trash and we have the dumpsters here and we keep it clean around here.
Right. Yes, it is not spelled out specifically. However, the reference to maintaining the enclosures
it does.
is where that has always been known by the property management companies, that that's what they are responsible to do.
But we need to, I think we have new generations of
You're
owners,
right, and that's,
property manager heads, property manager workers, and board of directors that don't understand this.
which is why I wanted to do the rewrite of the ordinances.
Yeah.
There are some property managers, two I can think of, although one is not as consistent as the other, that do hang notices.
Yeah.
Right.
On the enclosures that specifically says, do not leave trash bags outside or on top of the dumpsters, bring them over here.
Yeah, no, I'm talking more about the person who, you know, if half of their load falls on the ground and they figure, oh, someone will clean it up.
Right.
And that's where you guys are taking the time. I am concerned about the trash bags, but I'm not concerned as much as the people for just leaving their crap around and not cleaning up after themselves. At least if it's in a bag, it's.
Contained.
I don't want you guys to have the wrong impression, but we do not pick up the trash.
Oh, no, I'm not saying we're
Oh, okay.
supposed to.
Oh, okay, I just didn't want you to think that we
I'm
were
doing the other side,
okay,
where it has to be spelled out to the
No, no,
property
right.
owners, the property
Mhm.
managers, and the
yes,
presidents of the associations.
that's right,
That if it's in the dumpster, we'll take it away. If it's not, we're not going.
that's right,
You know?
I agree. Yeah.
And it's not our job to take it and put it in the dumpster.
And,
And
right,
we don't.
we don't.
No, I get it. I get it. And
and-
I'm not talking about the big stuff. I'm talking about the guy who he throws his trash in and 4 or 5 pieces go flying. And by the end of 30 people going there, the half of the dumpster enclosure is filled with loose.
Mhm.
Yeah,
You're right.
And they think it's us.
And they
that
think
aren't
it's our responsibility, you're right. And that's part of why I really, see, we used to be able to go to 3 or 4 people
Right.
around town, and you could communicate with everyone
Right.
who
But
you
even,
needed to, but
even the
now,
staff of these property management is changing
Oh.
every day.
And a lot of them sub the stuff out.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
There's no consistency where before when you had the big managers, they had 3 or 4 foremen.
Yeah.
And those guys knew how to train their
Right.
workers.
Most of them do know. I mean, well, they should know, but, and I get it. The enclosures are probably the last things that get cleaned out as far as snow removal, say.
Yeah.
And, you know, they are supposed to, if we get a lot of snow, they are supposed to clean the tops of the dumpsters off and shovel all around them. Because that is problematic, because if we pick up dumpsters that have snow on them, you know, a lot of that, and that ends up in the truck, obviously.
well, it ends up in the truck or on top of our employees like it
Right.
has in the past.
Yeah, we have had a claim before because of that, but, and,
Well, that's part of what I wanted to
Right.
require a current list of contacts for each of the associations.
Right.
So that we can call people when we're having problems. Right now, there's no one you can contact.
We don't have a list of
Together.
condominium presidents.
No, we tried, but they haven't notified us. There's no mechanism.
No, we've tried the realty as well to try to get this
Yeah.
up, and we have a haphazard one.
Yeah, and I mean, I think if we require in our regulations
Yeah.
that they maintain a contact person, it doesn't have to be the president, it can be someone who lives here.
Well, the president
In the
can designate, I
association.
think it
That's
should be
right.
the president. But I think just if you wanted to contact Jan Stern, she has the closest to a list that we have.
Okay,
should that be part of the regulation?
yeah, that's what I'm saying, is make it a
Yeah.
requirement in the regulation.
Uh,
Right,
wholeheartedly agree.
So we'll update the regs
Yeah.
with what we would recommend to you, and you can look at it at the next meeting. And we can get that done before town meeting.
Yeah.
Because it
just-
has to be, if it's all right, I'll put in, a warrant article, because these are approved by town meeting. So in order to change them, we have to have a warrant article.
But I would also make a point of making it a priority for the town to have a list of a contact for each association.
I'm gonna,
And between Will and Pete, you could probably get the list together in about 20 minutes. They know who the presidents are.
no,
Yeah, Will Lambert knows who the
Oh, yeah.
president of all the ones he
not,
manages.
well, of the ones he manages.
Right, and Pete,
But-
and that's 90%. You have only a few that are self-managed.
No.
Yeah,
Will doesn't do 90%.
between Will and Pete, they do.
Yeah.
There are only a few that are self-managed. You have, what you got, presidential?
Village
High country,
presidential
High Country has,
will.
Well, man,
you
Will.
know, he's got, I think that, but there's somebody else out there. that I've
Moriarty.
seen.
Moriarty.
Three lands,
Three legs.
Three
It's
legs.
a subcontract.
Oh, that's a sub, okay.
Yeah,
Will
they work
contact.
for Will.
Yeah, so Will, Moriarty, and Pete, you should be able to get. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, because the only other one I think that's self-managed is presidential.
And village.
Well, Village is their own thing.
Yeah.
So just one more comment, I guess, just so that it's kind of a point of information.
Sure.
We have on the order of 75 dumpsters to pick up. And when we get a holiday week and we get behind, if we have a breakdown and we get behind, we can only get 20 to 25 dumpsters on the truck at a time before we have to go north. So that's just something else to just, so if you do the math,
and the 75 dumpsters is an increase of 20.
Right.
From, you know, and percentage-wise is almost a 50% increase from where we were in 2014 when we started recycling. So,
so
it's
it's,
all important stuff to convey through the associations to the unit owners.
and people have to be willing to come over here, bring their own trash over
Yeah.
here, like the single-family homeowners, if their dumpsters are full.
It's education, Mark.
And-
So I don't think people will object once they
Yeah.
have.
Yeah, because
I don't
this-
think They will either, most of them go right by here on
Yeah.
the way to the ski area, and, yeah.
yeah, because this is priority right here to keep as empty as we possibly can.
Gotcha.
And I think it's getting the people to not dump the stuff that they shouldn't be dumping in the dumpsters, that
Yeah.
fill it up
Well,
at
That's why I
the,
still want to go
yeah.
for some kind of camera.
Because it takes
with the sign.
one
We have a
person
camera.
to fill half a
People are It's
dumpster.
going to stop people from doing stuff.
And it's the same in the condominiums.
The same
I
thing.
get it, but at
Yeah.
least these you won't come in, the guys will have to dig a couch out that's been in
Mhm.
and soaked overnight. You know, that's the concern I have, is not taking the space, our guys getting hurt, you know, trying to fish this stuff out. And I think people, if they think they're being watched, are gonna own it to a degree. You know, we extend a privilege to our people that they can dump whenever they like.
Mhm.
And we expect the same courtesy in return, as they should only dump what they're supposed to dump.
And we will need to remove the reference that no one from out of town can dump here, because we have made a decision that we're gonna leave this open, and without being able to secure it, we are taking care of a lot of out-of-town trash.
I understand that, but let's discuss that as we word the
Okay.
the regulations. That's just my thought. Margaret?
Yeah, I mean, there's something in there about a fine of $500.
Well-
If somebody is dumping that is not on the list of people that are
Right.
allowed to dump. And I think between having a camera out there and having something posted saying 500,000 fine. Maybe, I don't know.
But
Maybe.
Yeah, but then we run into the problem where the person goes, I saw a so-and-so from there, and you haven't found them. So why are you finding
Well,
me as I threw
that's
past
the
them?
same as stopping somebody for a parking
Yeah.
ticket. You don't get them all.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's just something we need to look at. I feel pensive on this one.
It's not an easy
Yeah.
thing to do. We've seen the occupancy reports been as low as we've ever seen them.
Right.
And our trash amount is exactly the same as it's been
Yeah.
for the past 5 or 6 years. And that's because we are dumping trash from other communities.
Or are we dumping trash from more owners using their places?
Well, maybe, but
Because to be honest, we've sold quite a few units in the past few years. There's very little inventory left. And a lot of these new unit owners for the last few years are the ones that tend to use it more in the first year.
and if
of
that's the
ownership.
case, then
Yeah, I don't think we're a mecca for people coming to, oh, let's go drive to Waterville to dump our trash.
Yeah, what I see is I don't see people making a trip into dump. I see
Yeah.
I see a lot of people who work in town pulling in the morning.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, would it be worth keep posting a car there?
no, but we made a decision that that was okay. We've talked about this before, and there was a decision that that was okay.
Maybe we should revisit
I
that.
think that that's one of the things that we need, and we need to take it out of the ordinance if that is gonna be. okay.
Right.
So, and because it's open, you really can't tell what's
And then
happening
how do you
on the
enforce
weekends
it?
and
Yeah.
so, and I'm not, believe me, I am not advocating that we should put any kind of, close that off in any way, it's gotta be open the way that it
No,
is.
we
but-
got you with that, but we have to educate the public and expect more, and explain that we expect more for them to have this courtesy and this ability to do
Yeah,
this. Because it's a huge
it's
thing for
hard.
the people that are up here for the weekend to take their trash out Sunday night
Mhm.
on the way home.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, it's not an easy.
All right, well, what else do we have for Jim?
Vote on the water regulations.
Okay, now, where do we stand on that, Mark?
You tabled it at the last meeting. The changes are as we discussed at the public hearing, and there's nothing in your packet for this week for them.
So what do we have to
They were from the last. We didn't make any further changes. You guys were gonna wait and see if people commented to
feedback.
you, if you got any feedback. We did not receive any, in the office. so.
This was the whole subject of how do we determine what the fees are?
It's the point system.
The point
Right.
system,
Yeah, the
yeah,
point system
okay,
on it.
okay.
Well, that's right, because we had the people who were here only got the point system 2 minutes before the hearing, so they couldn't understand it.
Mhm.
Not a soul came back to me with any questions on it.
Oh.
So, I would make the motion to approve the sewer regulations as presented at the last meeting.
And I will second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Dan?
No real update.
No.
You saw Matt Hesser's,
Yeah.
email, and I sent the info back to him, so.
Okay.
And I gave you the
Yeah,
updated.
and we have the updated schedule.
Yeah.
So right now, it's somewhere between the middle of April and beginning of May that they plan to come back in, depending on weather.
Okay. Well, 3?
You have the Primex notice of claim payment that they will be making
Okay.
to us.
I have some confusion with that.
Yeah.
Margaret, were you confused by that at all? It seems like it's either or. If we don't hook well 3 up,
No.
we don't get all the money.
Well, no, no, we submitted a claim for the $49,281
For the damage to,
for the damage to well building 1 when it got hit by the lightning,
okay,
okay? They came back and said that they would They were gonna honor that claim,
Right,
okay?
and depreciate.
With the $1,000 deductible and a depreciation of 16,262. So they are in the process of writing the check for 32,019, okay? In order to get the 16,262, we either have to repair well building 1, or we have to do the physical connection, or at least start the work to physically connect well 3 to the new treatment building before December 6, 2020.
Okay.
Okay, and if we do that, if we submit bills to them that total 49,281, they will give us the additional 16,000. Okay, but what I asked Primex was, could we count the design engineering
That's
towards
part
that 49?
Yeah.
And they said, no, it had to be physical work
Okay,
to
and
do
we
the
have,
connection.
we're planning to put something in the capital, in 2020.
Plan for 2020.
2020,
And put it
after
out to
we
bid.
find out all this stuff about well 3
That's
in
correct.
2019.
That's correct.
of it. So if well 3 is not potable under any circumstances,
Right.
we don't get the $11,000.
We don't get the
16,000.
16,000.
16,000.
Yeah. That's correct.
Which is weird because this was an event at well 1.
Yeah.
That's what
Yes,
got.
but
No,
well
no,
3 is
well-
connected.
Well, pump house
Well,
one.
Pump house one.
Pump house,
Yeah,
okay.
pump house.
And pump 1 is disconnected.
Oh, no,
and
I-
pump 3
I-
runs through there, yeah.
Okay,
So, I called Department of Revenue Administration, and the board, because the board's been given the authority under the RSA 3195B, you can accept the $32,000 and you can apply it to the well 3 project, because that was a project that already had been approved by town meeting.
okay.
And this was unanticipated monies. I did ask her if we would be required, because we're so close to town meeting, to run it through town meeting, and Michelle Clark said no. That because she didn't want us to reappropriate money to a project that's already been approved. So this is the selectmen's authority to do this. Otherwise, the money will go in, it'll go into miscellaneous revenues under
Can you put it in
2019.
miscellaneous revenues?
Well, you can.
I thought it had
But-
been designated to this because.
No, it doesn't
Okay.
have to be, but then it'll either be used to reduce the tax rate overall tax rate of the operating budget in 19, or it'll go to fund balance
We could use it for anything.
and you can use it.
So what you
for-
wanna do is you wanna take this money and you wanna designate it towards the well projects.
That's
Which they've
correct,
allowed us to do.
that's
So
correct,
it will make our well project less expensive.
that's correct, yes.
And it was a well-related.
It was a
insurance.
well-related insurance incident, yes.
Rich, any thoughts?
Yeah, I think that's the way we should go.
Okay, all right, well, someone make a motion to accept this.
I move that we accept the check from Primex in the amount of $32,019 and designated to the well 3 project.
Will you second that, Rich?
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
Aye.
that is done. All right, town core working group update.
Mark Kane has given us the proposal that I included in your packet to do engineering and design work on the trail improvement project, which is in the 2019 CIP. Mark has broken his proposal down into 2 parts. The first is to do basically some conceptual design work with the town core working group to prepare for a town meeting presentation. And if the project is approved, then the second part of his work would be to do engineering so that we have bidders contracts that we can put out for a design build approach to the project. And in design build, you basically have a general plan that you give to the contractor. They usually have an engineer on staff or an architect or things like that, and they do the actual final engineering themselves and then build the project. But by doing design build, then we can do some of the work ourselves if we want to, if the resort wants to help us. We can tailor it to what our capabilities are.
And this would come out of the 150,000.
This would come out of the 150,000, but like, as I put in here, that the $6,000 would be spent before town meeting, so we would have to take that out of contingency if the project doesn't.
All right, now, a
Pass.
question for you. Do we figure out the boundary issue yet that you and I spoke about?
No, not yet. Now, Bill has not called me yet.
All right, he's probably getting back today.
Yeah,
He'll be
so
planning
I'll
tomorrow.
talk to him as soon as.
Do we want to
as
hold
possible.
off on this for 2 weeks or not?
Well, no, I'd really like to get Mark started because we need this information that
For town
Mark's
meeting?
gonna do. Well, we actually need it for the budget hearing. I'd like to be able to show people so that we can have some conversations over that month between the budget hearings and the, and town meeting.
How much do you think he's going to be able to provide us in that time?
Well, a lot of it's already included in the pedestrian plan, so he's really doing just
But what are
detailed
we getting
work
for
out
this?
of that.
Are we going to have something that's going to, help us with our presentation for the $150,000?
Yes, we are.
Will that be visual aids as
Yes,
well?
visual aids.
And
he's-
maps to show where things would go?
Exactly, and he's gonna help them do the presentation slides and everything, so,
For which we're paying him $6,000.
Yeah.
I'm kind of lost as to what this 150,000 is for.
The town core group, what we've decided we'd like to do for our next phase
Right,
is to go and start building and rebuilding the old fitness trail around, below the Golden Eagle from Mountain Brook and underneath there. Build hiking and biking trails that spiral out from the center of town with good signage, which will get people in an orderly manner from town square, say, not necessarily on the road all the way down Snow's Mountain, over to Depot Camp, up to the other side of town as well.
okay,
So this is our phase to get more pedestrian feeling and the sign ban continue. This would involve more signage throughout town, bigger signs. It would involve also, one of the ideas was moving the concierge booth over to the other side of town square to the pond, so there's more of a focus there. And it's the core groups, we're still trying to figure this out, but it's trying to work as the center of town, being the center of the hub, where all hiking and biking leads from pretty much.
okay.
And give the person who has no idea of where they are a really good shot of getting back to town square.
Okay,
and it ties into the AIA increase funding request. So what Mark will be doing is Rich, I'm just showing him a map around Corcoran's Pond of the area that Mark is
And
gonna
actually,
be.
I can take a picture of
focused
that
on-
and I can text that.
Yeah, there you go. So it'll be a path, the green marker
okay,
is the path, the hiking or walking path around Corcoran's Pond. And then down the
except
old
it doesn't
fitness
go all the
trail.
way around,
Well, it doesn't because of,
right,
there's no bridge.
there's no bridge.
Yeah, he's not gonna, but he is gonna work on getting that so that a contractor could come in and build that.
Mhm.
Okay, it will include, and all the way down the old fitness trail to Snow's Brook Road.
Snowsbrook
Okay.
Road,
So
which the fitness area is actually beyond that.
it was, yes,
Yeah.
but this was part of the fitness trail, we used to have those,
Oh, okay,
Right,
I got you,
so-
yeah.
now I
And
think
isn't-
it's called
but
the
isn't this something
Snowsbrook
that-
Trail.
Isn't this something that the mountain maintains?
The mountain said they would help us.
They would help
flatten
us,
And maintain this. This is, hopefully this will be a co-venture. This will not be
Okay.
just all of it.
Okay, okay.
But it also includes all lighting along the trails,
Mhm.
the signage, as Mike talked about.
Rich, did you get the map?
I just got it, thank you.
Okay,
So, but Mark Mark would basically take the information that's in the pedestrian plan, right? And he would do more detailed work in this area. And then, as Mike said, the third part of this is to go out on the cross-country ski trail that goes out in this direction and see what we can do on, and he will be putting together basically the preparation for the bid document.
We
And
might even
cost
find
us-
out that we can't do what we wanna do for
That's
$150,000.
Right.
It would save us all a bunch of time, money, and
Right.
everything else.
And what is this piece here?
That's a piece we're purchasing,
That's the piece we're purchasing, and
and that's the planning board issue that's gonna come up tomorrow with the new subdivision.
okay.
And this is the tentative location for the chapel.
Mhm.
Dock. So this is the area that we want Mark to concentrate on and help us going into town meeting for that part of the project.
Okay.
Any questions, Rich?
No, I understand it, thank you.
My only concern is that when you talk about town center being the center for people leaving for hiking and biking, at this point in time, these trails don't lead to anywhere.
They lead around the town, and hopefully they'll be tied in. And, you know, if you take the fitness trail, it will take you out to the Mad River Trail.
Right, if you come down here, you go out, you can go out and connect into the forest in this direction.
And if you go
Yeah.
down this way.
Well, if you go across here,
Right.
then you're
Then you can
connecting
go,
out here,
right.
or you can come down and get to the north end,
Walking,
which takes you out
Yes.
there.
Right.
walking.
Yeah.
Right.
If you walk, you can go, we can get people across here.
Underneath the
Actually,
bridge,
it's out, yes.
underneath the bridge and out to
Right.
the forest, yes,
You-
walking.
And
yes.
you can actually get back towards the rec center. So the signage will be to connect all of these places
Okay,
and
I
get
got it.
people.
All right,
I think the idea is to get the family that wants to have something in the afternoon to go. Why don't we go up to Waterville and walk around these are basically flat, easy hikes?
Mhm.
And if the signage is easy, it's gonna be great because they're gonna feel comfortable with it.
right, I got you. Okay,
All right.
All right. So are you okay with me doing the proposal
Yeah.
with Mark?
I am, I'll make the motion to, spend the $6,000 to have Mark create these, overlays and plans for,
For town meeting?
You say phase one, correct?
Phase one,
yes.
yeah. But
Preliminary,
the idea would be that if the project is approved, he would then go on to do phase two, and we wouldn't
phase two.
put it out to
And
another.
it's no additional money, it comes out of the 150.
Yeah, right.
And will the 6,000 be deducted from the 150 if we go ahead with the plan?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, the 18
18
will go towards the 150.
Great, so I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
I,
Great.
Aye.
All right.
All right. Now, one other thing on the town core working thing. As all of us have, we've gotten great comments on the sign.
yes,
We need to do something on the back of the sign. I think tall shrubs is the best way to go. Because I think we could get cheesy if we put a thank you for visiting Waterville Valley.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's the way, that's just my thought.
Mhm.
Jim, what do you think?
Yeah, I personally assumed all along that there was gonna be some type of landscaping plan to come at a later date.
Can we find some tall shrubs and just plant them?
We can, yeah, I mean, you want arborvitae's,
Just something that will so the back of the sign isn't visible.
mhm. We can find
Yeah.
something.
And we don't want to wait 10 years for it to get.
Mhm. Well, yeah,
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Can we get something of that size? Do we have stuff laying around the woods somewhere?
laying around the woods.
Play around the woods.
No, that's an honest question.
Oh, okay.
No, that would be something that you would probably have to procure from the nursery.
All right, could you get some prices on that, if you don't mind?
Sure.
Or any other ideas anybody else might have on doing something for the back of it?
Sure, we'll look
So I
at
was just
it.
thinking, because this is something with, in terms of it's more of a photo landscaping, with flowers in the summer, is that all part of the
Yeah,
plan?
I would think flowers and stuff could go in front of the arborvitae, so we're
Right.
just not looking at the back of the sign. Or we could go the
Right.
complete opposite way and get a corporate sponsor and have Gillette.
We
Or something
could,
like Burlington.
and pay us back for the
Paint
sign,
and
that'd be
camera.
awesome. Brought to you by Spear Memorial Hospital. Go skiing and then come visit us.
Well, we could also have a discussion of that at town meeting, as what we
Okay.
wanna do with sign, let's let that become. Okay, great, all right, so we can go up to calendar review now, if that's okay with everybody else. Planning board is on the 10th, which is tomorrow. Richard, you're not back for that, correct?
No, I won't be able to make it, I've let Terry know.
All right, our next meeting's on the 23rd. The audit field work means that the auditors will be here. Budget and bond meeting is February 6th. Now, also, is the school the night before?
For,
The 4th.
Okay,
Ours is on Wednesday, theirs is on Monday.
all right. And can we publicize that really well, the school? A lot of people, it's always an afterthought, oh, that was the other night.
Mhm.
Okay. Now we can approve and sign the fourth water, sewer, and solid waste billing warrant.
Which Rich already has signed it. Then we might as well. This is your administrative abatement, if you want to sign that at the same time.
And you have something attached behind it.
That's just the backup for the abatement.
just so you know, January 23rd is opening night, so I gotta be out of
We
here by
thought-
4:45.
Yeah, we thought that that was a potential. Do you want
I
to
could
do it
pass
on a
that back to
different?
you. You didn't
No,
have
no,
to.
no. Do you want to do it on a different,
If you want to do it on a different day, let's.
different day?
I can't do it on the 25th though.
Well, if we started earlier,
And we can do that, I can do
we
that.
do
too.
2
Is that
o'clock,
okay with you, Rich?
2 o'clock on
Yes,
the 23rd.
Okay, let's do 2
Sorry, run
o'clock.
that on the 22nd of earlier on the 23rd?
Yeah.
Yeah, either works for me.
2 o'clock on the 23rd would be great.
Would it be easier if you do it on the 22nd, or is it just for?
No. That's just for yours.
Okay.
Okay, so 2 o'clock,
Okay.
2 o'clock on the
Very
20th.
good.
Okay, budget information.
Okay.
I had a couple of things on the budget that I looked at that cost me a little bit.
Okay.
IT were going up again, and I remembered we discussed it, but I forgot why.
I don't have my,
Was there some new computer thing for
I was gonna say for the upgrades for the,
the,
motor vehicles and the whole
Yes,
online
that's right.
systems.
the online motor vehicles.
Okay.
Was
Switching to a new
A portion of it, but there was
platform.
another computer upgrade that was in there that was not part of our annual,
Yeah.
that was a new thing. I will email you.
Yeah.
The changes.
all right, and special celebrations. Is it the reason it's saying minus 100, are we carrying over the 5,000?
No, it should be zero.
Okay,
That's physically typed in there because of the zero.
right, those are the only two things that I had on that. Rich, how about you on the budget?
I'm good.
Margaret?
Yeah, I'm good. And, Mark, in terms of the presentation that you
Mhm.
put together, I know you usually do this, but, talking about what's different in 2019 versus the year before, I think it's worth talking about in personnel costs,
Mhm.
that, the the existing population of personnel, the impact on them is actually only X%. The overall thing is impacted by the fact that we increase somebody's hours and we're adding a new person or two new people
Yeah,
because of
right.
the, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's worth making, so that people don't think that somehow the personnel are getting a
6.5%.
6.5%
Right, exactly.
increase.
We-
Okay,
We've already discussed that
Right.
on the annual report.
okay.
Okay, so, any questions on the budget, Rick? Dutch? All
No,
right,
I'm good, no.
That's all right. Okay, and let's go to the warrants now. I really didn't read them well, but trust me.
Is there going to be some place where people can read about all these amendments? You know, because
Yeah, I
people have
just-
asked me about it and I said, all they're doing is they're updating to comply with state regulations.
Actually, no, there's some changes.
There's some
significant
pretty
changes.
significant changes. There are a few that are to update,
Yeah.
to current state law, but there are some pretty significant changes. The problem that I have is we have so many changes that there's like 65 pages of material that are in the actual changes. We just got them today. And there's a lot of strike through and additions and
Can we ask the planning board for cliff notes on each one?
I think they're gonna work on those tomorrow. They mentioned that there's gonna be an article in the wigwag and that sort of thing to
But
try
fewer
to.
people read the wigwag on them.
Well, and we'll get them on, we'll post the same thing on the website and do all of that.
But I think really simplistic things like this will eliminate the setbacks between houses.
Yeah.
This will allow this in this area.
Yeah.
You know, one sentence
Yeah, it's,
to give people the gist, and then, you know, maybe below it a paragraph, but
right. We'll have to try to, I'm concerned about the actual language in these warrant articles, that they're not gonna be very descriptive.
Right,
Um,
I'm concerned about that as well.
without
People won't know what they're
without making them a whole paragraph
right, that's
in
fine.
themselves, so
Right,
it's just, you can't get people to read in the voting booth. So I just would hate to see, these changes are pretty important, and I hate to see them be defeated because people just
No.
react to say,
Right,
I'm gonna vote no because I don't understand it.
right.
So,
Yeah.
we'll continue to work with Taylor. And how to,
right, and everyone else is gonna do things like, Rick is gonna explain that the bus is so many years old and needs that work. The library is gonna tell them what they're really gonna do with 75,000.
we hope so, yes.
That seems like a lot for a building that small.
Well, Jim,
Jim, what do you think?
It's the roof
Well,
replacement.
it's the roof, all the siding, insulation, hopefully maybe some foundation repair.
Yeah, you could build that building for 75,000.
So we shall see. Well, and the point is too, what you have to remember is such an old building. What if there is something else that,
Yeah, I've done this. You can build that building for $75,000.
so,
Okay,
I still have a question on buying versus leasing the truck. Leasing the truck over, we have to make it clear to the voters. I mean, we know what the cost of leasing is over the 11 years and how much per year that ends up being. But the cost of buying has an interest associated with it too, even though it's over 25 years. So I'd like the voters to know what the total cost is of buying,
Sure.
including the interest charges.
yes,
Just as they're going to know what the cost of the lease is.
Yeah.
And from what you've told me, it's less money
it's less money.
to buy.
it's gonna be about the same
It's gonna be
for
about
the,
the
with the
same.
interest,
It's
with the
less
interest.
money a year.
But it's less money a year.
Less money a
But
year.
more
and-
years.
and
That's right.
one of the selling points is that we're spreading
Impact
the-
on the tax rate.
Yeah, and that we're
But-
spreading the cost over a number of years
Where
of
the
the life, where
That's
the
right.
people that actually benefit
Use-
from the
that's
truck.
Correct.
That's right.
Okay,
But I'll have those, I'll have all of those numbers together. I'll get an amortization schedule from the bond bank and we'll. My issue is, it's going to be very difficult to get people to understand, like, closing these capital accounts to do leases. You know, there's just no way that we can use that money unless we do it in this manner. So I don't want people to feel like we're trying to
is this something
pull,
new?
no, capital, we've never, if you're using if you're buying a piece of equipment, you can use the capital account to buy it. But you can't use the capital reserve monies to pay a lease because there's a non-appropriation clause.
So
In the
all those
lease.
leases that we've done in the past were
We-
straight,
Cash
Straight
for that.
cash or fund balance.
okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's why we break it up into 3 years and we appropriate each year.
Right.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I just have one comment on Article 9. The text says 950,000, but the numbers say 900.
Yeah, the numbers are gonna be actually 900. So we'll make sure that they match. And that's because of the capital reserve account. Well, actually, it's because we made the $100,000 payment this year. So that saved us the 50,000.
Right.
Okay.
I think we're all set.
Okay, we'll go down to course, but we've talked about the solid waste regulations.
Yeah, you're all set with that.
And we're gonna add an action item to get a list of all of property managers in contact, to get all the presidents of all the associations.
Yep.
All right, we'll go to correspondence. Has everybody been in on these correspondence with Tim Smith on school, starting the school early? I think I think we all agreed we wanted to start after Labor Day.
Yep.
All right. And then with the unfortunate letter that was sent out by the school department. Did you guys see that, Rich and Margaret?
Yeah.
We got a nice letter from Mark Allering.
Yeah.
Responding to that.
Yeah, and I just, while we're in a public meeting, I just want to reiterate that, you know, this was not any letter that went out to the parents of the school, was not reflective of any testing that our water department did or was responsible for. So the water system itself is fine. There's no lead issues with the water that we are putting out from our water department. This was an isolated, a single sink in the school building. It didn't get used very often. And it had an elevated level of lead that was tested. They've taken action to disconnect that sink from the school water system, so that's okay. It had nothing to do with the drinking water in the school.
Who performed these tests for the school?
It was a private company out of Concord.
And was there some reason why they didn't come to us and ask us to do it?
That was a decision by the facilities manager at the SMU, I guess.
Because if we are going to be consistent in the way that we test water, it seems to me like it'd be a good idea for them to get in touch with us when they need this done.
I've suggested that to
Yeah.
them.
You think
School
they would
board
do that?
I don't know. I'm gonna talk to Mike Ferber tonight. We have a meeting, so,
Okay.
of the conservation commission, so.
Anything else before we go into non-public?
Nothing else that I can think
Okay,
of.
I would like to make a motion at 4:06 to go into non-public.
Chris, I'd like to stay for this, if that's all right.
Okay.
We'll get you out real quick.
Is there a second?
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
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 Did you have anything for non-public?
No.
Okay,